So that's where we'll end with the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed a bit of the film session. I know I think we said we will get to a game later on, but I think we'll add that for the next podcast. So
100%.
that'll be all for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as we did, and well, we'll see you soon.
Peace. So now I'm going to move on to Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson's probably is the second of the bunch that I would mention. All right. Now, Anthony Richardson is a very weird one. Anthony, we've talked about this in the past, but Anthony Richardson is one of those quarterbacks that one play he will make an amazing off his back foot 60-yard heave for a touchdown. And I think this is a great example of this against the Chicago Bears, right? You got a deep you got a deep route by Alex Pierce on the right side. You got, deep routes on the right side too from both of the Colts receivers. This is a 4-receiver set, very standard protection, very standard defensive, pass rush set by the Chicago Bears.
Chicago.
So it's very, very simple. Just read the blitz and be able to get that out, which he does. He reads that. Alec Pierce is wide open down the side. Coverage or the coverage shifted. I think the Bears were playing cover one, if I'm not mistaken, right? Let me see.
Um, you got four, 6. Yeah, they're playing cover one.
Right. So it's very simple. At that point where the safety basically shifts, you got to be able to find the deep man. Alec Pierce, one of the best deep ball threats in the league right now. I'm pretty sure he's leading the league in yards per reception. He tracks the ball. But this is the other problem I have with Anthony Richardson. That ball needs to, when you're that open, that ball needs to be pretty much ahead of you. I get that might be a hospital pass. Throw it on the left side of Alec Pierce. He has that type of space. That was still an inaccurate pass, and that's part of the problem we've seen with Anthony Richardson, who, by the way, has had a, if I'm not mistaken, 44% completion percentage, and I think he had the highest off-target percentage by nearly 20 points in the entire game, right? I haven't updated with the stats, but that is kind of what we see with Anthony Richardson, even on a good play. Now, this is probably another example. When it comes to a quarterback, one of the most important things is decision making on a down-to-down basis, situational football, being able to know how and when to extend a play, right? On this specific play, you see Anthony Richardson, on a quick, basically, scheme. He's looking to number one. I'm not sure who number one is. That might be Josh Downs. I might be wrong about that. Again, I'm not good with player numbers. At that point, you gotta look at that ball. What you said with Caleb Williams earlier. That's one of those plays where I would very much on a second down take that risk, basically go and get it, right? Also, you got Jonathan Taylor out here in the flat. You got to be aware of your running back and if he's not blocking, where he is at all points in time if you're a quarterback. Right? You just got to be able to multitask. Now, here's the problem. Anthony Richardson drops back, or hesitates for 1 second, stays in the pocket. I've seen this with many quarterbacks, and this is one reason why a lot of them just don't develop over time. This is a big problem with Derek Carr. After his broken leg, he very much just got shell-shocked to the point where he just refused to be able to extend a play for a few years. He just threw a check down way too late to his receiver. By that point, his receiver or his running back or receiver was covered. It would be a play behind the line, right?
No, but Yash, I will say this though, in regards to this play here, Richardson, he's taking time, but the other thing is, unlike Caleb's case where he had like 5-man pressure, in this case, yes, it's a quick check down here. It can be a quick check down there, but I'll say this, the cornerback's kind of coming into that side, so maybe also there. But in this case, he's actually looking at the right guy. This
Michael
here
Pittman?
is a good dot pass. That's a clear good dot pass.
Well, here's the thing, though. This is the other thing
play.
I'd say. Even if you're looking at Michael Pittman here, number one, Michael Pittman drifts away. So that would have been on Michael Pittman if that throw didn't basically happen, right? But let's look at this again, right? Number one, if you're looking at number one here, and then you're looking at Michael Pittman, that's your second read, all right? You also got to be aware around the pressure round. Like I said, a quarterback has to multitask at once, right? Once you see that break, you got to throw it at him right away, right? The minute he looks, his timing is a little late. And as you can see, he just stays in the pocket. If you're a
He's wide
quarterback
open
under that
almost.
situation, back up. Just
Yeah.
take a little time, back up, kind of settle down, keep your feet in, and just throw that rocket. And Anthony Richardson's got a rocket. He's got velocity. That ball will get quick to Michael Pittman. But if you're not
Yeah.
there, if you feel like you're getting pressured, at the end of the day, Jonathan Taylor still has his back towards the running back. The worst thing that can happen is Jonathan Taylor gets tackled maybe 1 yard in front of the line of scrimmage,
Yeah.
right? That's the worst thing. Or Anthony Richardson's turns an incomplete pass, which on a 2nd down and 10 is not the end of the world, right? But the worst thing you can do under that point is stop in the pocket, let the pressure to come in your face, get, get an arm on your back, and then watch
Mm.
as Anthony Richardson just continues to just lag in, you know, his ability to make that decision, right? Let's look
No,
at it.
honestly, at that point in time, I'm just saying, run out of the pocket.
Run out of the pocket. You
You
might
don't
run out
have
of the
to make
pocket,
every throw.
or if you feel like you're going down, right? A lot of quarterbacks, a guy like Brady, if their statue or very limited, just throw it away. And
Yeah.
Richardson, like I said, he's got a strong arm. You're probably going to get that ball to the line of scrimmage at the very least, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to those types of plays. But if you wait a little bit longer, that quarterback is going to get that ball or that arm around onto your shoulder. At that point, you're going to have
Mm.
to throw off your offensive line. And that's always the worst thing you want to do as a quarterback. The worst thing, right? And in this case, it just backfired completely for Anthony Richardson. He tried to
Yeah.
throw off of Ryan Kelly. The ball ended up going straight to a Bears defender, and it was a turnover, right? The difference between CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson in these specific circumstances is timing and quickness of read, right? In the case of CJ
Mm.
Stroud, a lot of the time he's looking at a read, getting stuck to that read, and just overthinking, right?
Yeah.
Again, back up a little bit, take your time, find the receiver, just get that ball. With Anthony Richardson, however, that seems to be a very notable trend, right? He very much either seems to miss his read, miss his throw completely, or just kind of hesitate for a split second. CJ Stroud, the problem is not hesitation. The problem is just if he makes the wrong decision, he makes the wrong decision,
Yeah.
right? That's the difference that can kind of depend on how well you read the field, how quickly you can read the field, and that makes the decision when it comes. And that's the difference between elite quarterback and potentially good quarterback, which I think
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson has the potential.
I
Obviously,
think so
there's some
too.
problems otherwise with him talking about the whole concern of him getting benched and injured and whatnot. But he, when it comes to that, I think he can improve if, those injuries go away. He conditions himself. I honestly don't know what the hell to make of the whole situation with him taking himself out of the game.
That's
Um,
unacceptable.
that is unacceptable. And you're gonna if that keeps happening, you're gonna lose. I mean, he's already lost the respect of a lot of players just by doing that, right? Obviously, there was a talk with Shane Steichen. Obviously, that comes down to accountability with the Colts, and you can make an argument that that had to do with injuries. But if that was the case, the Colts would not have benched him. The Colts would not have basically called him out publicly,
Yeah.
which they did. Colts players called him out publicly. Clearly, it goes to show you that there's some sort of lack of discipline with Anthony Richardson, kind of a lack of preparation. And that's to me is the biggest problem. I
Yeah.
hopefully don't want to compare him to Jamarcus Russell, but there are shades of that. You don't want to see that in a young quarterback. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to stop share for a sec so I can be able to switch tabs for the final one. And this shouldn't really take that long because I think this one play really sums up Bryce Young and what the hell has happened to him, right? Bryce Young has played better over time. Bryce Young has shown glimpses of what he can do. But really, when it comes to Bryce Young, the problems are with this pattern with the Panthers. Nothing is going his way, and he's pretty much just shell shocked. That's what it comes down to. And
Yeah.
as I share my screen again, I will show this play to basically, this really sums it up when it comes to Bryce Young's experience with the Carolina Panthers. If I can find it. No, this is Justin Herbert.
Well, I mean, you're looking at, the number one ranked defense in the NFL. What do you
Yeah, yeah,
expect?
yeah.
Come on.
Well, this is the problem. So we start off with the Panthers, right? Very, very standard blitz for Jesse Minter defense, right? this is one of those plays that the quarterback should recognize easily. And Bryce Young does enough time to basically get out of the pocket. Now, the problem here is number one, it doesn't show on the camera, but the receivers are just not open, right? That's a big problem. Now, a quarterback could very much kind of wait a couple seconds. Now, again, pass rushers quick on him, try to find Chuba Hubbard. Probably not a good decision. Hubbard's right here calling for the ball. At that
Yeah,
point, you got to be at least in the commitment to be able to throw, right? He's looking downfield. Now, if you don't feel confident with that, it's 3rd and 5, right? You're going to get hit. Just throw it away, right? It's the first quarter, 6 minutes, 15, live to die another down, right?
yeah,
You'll get criticized for that, obviously, but that's better than what Bryce Young ends up doing. Bryce Young basically is waiting, 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 and then just decides not to throw it, not to take the big hit as he throws. So he just basically lies down and dies and takes a sack. That is the worst thing you could have done under that circumstance because you lose your team field territory. Or, force the ball down. That's the other alternative, which in some
oh
cases,
yeah,
Bryce Young, he's done. But in the cases of Bryce Young, a lot of the throws that you see out of Bryce Young, a turnover, I don't think we'll have time to show this, but a lot of them are just bad reads.
yeah.
When you have a bad read or just a bad overthrow or something like that, that's when you get into this kind of territory where you're just looked at as an unsolvable type quarterback. And I don't think Bryce Young is that, but those are the types of problems you saw with a guy like Josh Rosen. You saw with a guy like Zach Wilson, and those were the things that ended up eventually getting them not another chance, unlike a Sam Darnold, unlike a Baker Mayfield, where okay, they might be shell shocked, but at least they're showing some sense of okay, let me throw the ball, let me make a decision rather than just laying down a die, right?
Mm,
That's what I want to see more out of Bryce Young. But overall, when it comes to these quarterbacks, there are different, kind of trajectories, really. And from the looks of it, I just, again, when it comes to any young quarterback, most of these young quarterbacks, especially in this day and age, we have more talent at the quarterback position than any time in the history of the NFL, right? We uh the big thing when it comes to a quarterback in the NFL, young quarterback, is technicality, right? We want to be able to see how you read the field, how you find those little details, like Akilesh mentioned. And when it comes to that, certain quarterbacks get certain systems that help them, certain quarterbacks don't. But you want to be able to have at least enough decision making, as we've shown with some of these quarterbacks, so that you can at least get your team to move down the field. I feel
yeah.
personally like I've seen that with Caleb Williams a little bit more than a Bryce Young, right? But again, like Akilesh mentioned, there are several things that Bryce Young or Caleb Williams needs to improve on when it comes
Yeah.
to late timing, being able to read the ball quick enough. Those are things that you need to see.
But see, this is what I will say, and we'll end the episode with this here. Um, we're not trying to say here. I think Yash agrees with me in this. We're not trying to say this is the end all for these quarterbacks. What we're saying is, look, this is the situation. Now, what are they going to do to improve on it is what we're
Exactly.
waiting for. Okay. CJ Stroud, he started off so high that there's just those little tiny steps to get. Caleb Williams' case, look, there's some positives. Jacksonville game, there were a lot of positives, there were a lot of negatives. Arizona game was a game of negatives. So was against New England. New England was an embarrassment. I'm a
Mhm.
Patriots fan, and I can say I was shocked at what happened. Because, I mean, look, Gerard Mayo is he's good, but I mean, I think he'll get better as a head coach and the players that we get. Christian Gonzalez is playing like a top five cornerback in the league right now. But with all that being said, it's just that the one thing that I feel in regards to Caleb Williams, Bryce Young for that same matter is they just need a little bit more time. We have to play that waiting game with them. I hope the Bears fire Matt Eberflus. If they hire Ben Johnson, then we are for a decade of prayers that Ben Johnson doesn't do well with the Bears. Because if he's there, at least two Super Bowls are coming. So it's a bold claim, yes, but I'm not afraid to make it because this guy has transformed the league.